Alabama goes on the road in the SEC and loses to Vanderbilt 96-90 in Nashville as Labaron Philon set out the last 15 minutes of the game with cramps, and center Aiden Sherrell did not play at all, and Bama could not find a way to win without Philon in the second half and without Sherrell for the whole game. What happened? Welcome to another episode of the Bamature Hour. I'm Bama John. Today is Thursday, January 8th, 2026 in the year of our Lord. Thank you for tuning in. We now have over 8,900 subscribers to the YouTube channel and growing. We're headed to 10,000 and plus. Please like, subscribe, and follow. If you're accessing on the YouTube channel, if you're accessing on the various podcast outlet, please subscribe, like, and follow there as well. All right, star of the game, that was Amari Allen. He had 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists to lead the Tide in the loss. Other key performers, Aden Holloway had 22 points, but he also had 4 turnovers. Labaron Philon had 18 points, but he had 4 turnovers and also set out in the last 15 minutes of the game. Latrell Wrightsell had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. And Jemison had 11 rebounds and 5 points in a spirited effort. The MIAs, Taylor Bowen had only 3 points. He did have 7 rebounds. Jalil Bethea had 2 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist in 11 minutes. But he's not really getting much playing time. Must be in Nate Oates' doghouse, or Nate just doesn't he just doesn't trust him to go out there and be a contributor at this point in the season. We need him to step up and be a contributor. I don't know what's going to take to do that, but we need him. Houston Mallette, who's normally solid, had a quiet night with only 2 rebounds and did not score. Keitenn Bristow had 2 points and 2 rebounds. And then Noah Williamson was also MIA as he reverted back to his no-impact performance after his stellar performance against Kentucky. Looks like that Kentucky performance is a one-off and that we cannot count on Williamson to bring that kind of performance and that kind of effort game in and game out. We'll hope that he can start contributing more, but again, back to what he had given us all season, and that Kentucky performance looks like it is a one-off. All right, let's talk about the injuries in this game. Sherrell did not play, still having knee issues. Davion Hannah did not play, still having injury issues. And Philon had cramps. Apparently, the gym was very, very hot. I talked to some people that were at the game, and they said the gym was really hot. Philon must not have been hydrated well enough prior to the game, didn't get hydrated enough at halftime, and he cramped up and couldn't finish the game, and we really missed him in the game. Tough deal to have him out with cramps and not out there when we needed him. When the game was close in the last 10 minutes of the game, we needed Philon out there to score, to contribute. He's the best player on the team. He's the one that drives the bus. He is the engine of this team, and not having him out there, just our other guys couldn't pick up the slack with him and with Sherrell out of the game. So what happened? Vandy came out in the first half and jumped up on Alabama 30-17. And then with 7 minutes and 39 seconds left in the game at the under 8 timeout, Bama came out and got going. Labaron Philon started playing well, started scoring, and then we started competing because Alabama's bigs and our guards were really nowhere to be found at that point in the game. And then with the under 8-minute timeout, when we came out of that, Alabama managed to even take a 2-point lead in the first half and then went into the game tied. How did they do it in the first half? Holloway struggled with the quickness and the toughness of the guards. But Bama got back in the game by out-rebounding, in terms of the first half, by out-rebounding Vanderbilt 24-17, with Allen having 7 rebounds, Jemison having 6 rebounds, and Taylor Bowen having 5. Duke Miles led Vanderbilt in the first half, torching Alabama for 17 points. Tyler Tanner, who was the standout player for the game for Vanderbilt, was hot early to help them get out to that lead, but then he cooled off in the rest of the first half as well, as the game was knotted at 43 all at halftime. In the second half, Labaron Philon cramped up, had to go out of the game, and didn't play in the last 15 minutes of the game. And really, without Philon playing in the second half, Alabama managed to keep the game close in what was an ugly foul fest. There were tons of fouls called, tons of fouls committed, and it was a close game until 10 minutes to go. And then Vanderbilt seized control of the game, stretched the lead to double digits, and then Alabama down the stretch managed to cut the lead to 9 points with less than 2 minutes to go, and then got it to 4 points with 36 seconds left in the game. But that was really too late, too little too late. And Vanderbilt closed out Alabama 96-90. Vandy was led by Tyler Tanner. And in the second half, particularly, he was on fire. He scored 29 points, had 7 assists, 4 steals, and was able to control the game from the point. He may be the best pure point guard in the league. He was outstanding. He's a blur. He's super quick. Very impressed with Tyler Tanner. Duke Miles contributed 19 points to the cause, but he had most of those points in the first half. And then you had 3 other Vanderbilt players in double digits. Bama was led by Amari Allen with 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. As I said, he was the star of the game. Aden Holloway had a good game, scoring 22 points, but he also had 4 turnovers, and those turnovers were costly. And then with Philon, who had 18 points in the game, cramped up and unable to finish the game, with Sherrell and Philon on the bench, Alabama really struggled down the stretch to score and to also stop Vanderbilt, and just a tough situation. Latrell Wrightsell had 13 points. He played fine. He contributed really. The rest of the players, nothing of note other than London Jemison having a bunch of rebounds, had 11 rebounds for the game. All right, let's look at the team stats. Alabama shot poorly, shooting just 37% from the field, and they shot 22% from 3. You make 3 more 3-point shots in that game, Alabama can win. Vanderbilt shot 35% from 3 as compared to just 22% from Alabama. They didn't shoot the ball well. Some of it was they weren't hitting. Some of it was they were forcing too many shots rather than working the ball around and getting good open looks. But Alabama clearly didn't shoot the ball well, struggled to score, forced a lot, but it didn't help that Philon wasn't available down the stretch, because he's truly the only player that can get and create his own shot against virtually anybody. Holloway's probably the next best player at creating his own shot, but Tyler Tanner and Duke Miles are very quick, very athletic, and they really made it hard on Holloway to score. And then they had some guys at the basket when Holloway would get by there that could disrupt his drive to the basket. And even though Holloway had 22 points, he did struggle to score, and was just battling all night, and then he turned the ball over. Bama, on a positive note, out-rebounded Vanderbilt 49-38, so we had an 11-point margin on the boards, and that allowed Alabama to keep the game close despite the poor shooting. But then Alabama had 13 turnovers to only 8 for Vanderbilt. We didn't take care of the ball well. So tough to note. All right, issues. Injury to Sherrell. We need him back. We need him in the lineup. He's one of our 4 best players. We need him. Philon's got to be properly hydrated. He cannot be cramping like that. They're going to have to hydrate him better prior to the game. They're going to have to hydrate him well at half. We cannot have Philon sitting out the last 15 minutes due to cramping. I know it was very hot in Memorial Gymnasium in Nashville, but no excuses there. He's got to be properly hydrated. And so another issue is that we can't pull out a win like this against a high-quality team, a top 10 team, one of the best teams in the SEC, without Philon. He is the key cog in the machine, and we got to have Philon out there. Also, Holloway was unable to make the plays, score, and do what we needed to do to get Bama a lead late in the game when the game was contested, when Alabama had a chance to maybe take the lead and stretch the lead. Holloway, particularly without Philon in there and without Sherrell in there, he was not able to do it himself. So, issue. The other thing was no one on Alabama could stop Tyler Tanner. He did what he wanted to do, got where he wanted to go. So quick, so athletic, impressive ball skills, impressive shooting, good at creating his own shot. He was very impressive. He's also good at dishing the ball off to other players and getting them shots as he broke down the defense. Duke Miles played really well in the first half, and I was impressed with him as well. So here's where we are now. Alabama is now 11-4 on the season, 1-1 in the SEC. Next up for Alabama is Texas at home on Saturday night, January 10th. Alabama needs to bounce back with the win to stay in the SEC race and to avoid a 2-game losing streak. Going to 1-2 in the SEC, and particularly losing at home to Texas, would be bad for this team. We need to bounce back. Hopefully Sherrell's able to play. Philon should be fine. They just need to make sure they take care of the hydration issues and then he doesn't have cramping issues going forward. Alabama still has a chance to be a very good team, to be an Elite 8 team, to be a Sweet 16 team, to be a top 4 seed. But we need to get wins like that against Vanderbilt. We'll see how good Vanderbilt proves to be. But right now they're undefeated. They're leading the SEC. And we'll see. And we don't play Vanderbilt again. The only time we could potentially play Vanderbilt again is if we play them in the tournament. So they'll have a tiebreaker on Alabama if we end up tied in the standings with Vanderbilt. But anyway, good team. Hats off to them. They're still undefeated, well coached. They've got some athletic players. They've got good shooters. I was impressed by Vanderbilt. Okay, that's it. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, follow, like, hit the notify bell wherever you access the podcast, wherever you stream us. God bless and roll Tide.